It has been a while since I've made a dedicated life safety tier list, okay? A tier list that actually has the potential, if applied, to save somebody's life. I think it's time I run one back again. So today we're talking about the most dangerous and even deadly driving situations that you could find yourself in every single day. These are seemingly normal things that you do every day that have deadly potential, okay? So please listen up, take notes, and then go out and be more careful when you find yourself in these situations on the road. Let's get into the video. Actually, I'm just kidding. Before that, thank you so much for 30K. This is absolutely unreal. If you think about 30,000 people in a football stadium, like I can't even imagine that, okay? And the fact that that many people are following me, it's hard to portray this through the camera, but thank you so much from the depths of my heart. Thank you. Now, without further ado, see how I did that correctly? Let's get into the video. Starting us off, we have unprotected left turns, okay? So this is basically when you aren't protected by an advanced green and you are in an intersection waiting to make your left turn. Now, why is this so deadly? It's because you have to make the left turn on your own judgment when you think it is free to go and no oncoming cars are approaching. But what's the issue is that you can't trust human judgment all the time. So what ends up happening is a lot of T-bones in these scenarios. And here are the two ways those happen. Number one, when the person making the left turn doesn't have good enough visibility because maybe they're blocked from a car on the other side of the intersection, only make a left turn on intersection if you can clearly see what's going on in the oncoming lane. And secondly, and more commonly, is making the left turn too soon. If the light is about to turn yellow and you are making a turn at an intersection, you have to make sure that the cars oncoming have stopped for the yellow or for the red and that none of them are going to run it before you make your left turn. Because if you make it too early and you haven't fully confirmed that people are done coming through the intersection, that is a genuine recipe for a T-bone. Those are the two specific scenarios. In general, be extremely careful with making left turns. This can result in a T-bone if you have passengers or it's a high-speed intersection. This could very well be fatal, so I'm going to put it right in fatal. Next up, we have bad weather, but specifically when it first starts raining. Now, we all know I've covered this many times before. Be careful in bad weather, okay? A lot of you guys are way too comfortable and cocky when driving in bad weather, but this especially applies actually, and I want to highlight this, when it first starts raining. Because when it first starts raining, the initial dirt and grime and oil that is on the road gets picked up by the rainwater and then can make the roads extra slippery or make you lose traction. So this is a big danger area. And I wanted to highlight this because obviously we know when it's pouring rain to be careful, but when it first starts raining, even if it's light, it could actually be more risky because, well, of the oil and the grime. Bad weather in general can cause so many accidents, not just from visibility, but from road conditions. For that reason, this could be possibly deadly. Next up, we have highways. Now, the biggest conception, especially with new drivers, that highways are inherently dangerous, which in fact, they are just not, okay? In fact, they're one of the safest places to be in terms of things that could go wrong. Think about it. You're just going down a straight 2 or 3 lane road with no turns, no intersections, nothing. So in theory, they should actually be incredibly safe and have no accidents. However, this is not the case for 2 reasons. Number one, people don't practice proper lane discipline, okay? You're supposed to stay right unless you are passing. This should be common knowledge by now, but a lot of people don't understand this. So what ends up happening is people will clog the left lane, so then people will be passing on the right and the left, and the highway can get really messy and very unsafe. And then the second reason is how people get onto the highway, which I have a dedicated one for over here, so stay tuned. So yes, obviously you're going fast, okay? So if an accident happens, it could be very bad. Pay attention on the highway, like you should always be paying attention. But in terms of the amount of things that could go wrong, it's very little on the highway. So if you're nervous about driving a highway or anxious, or you always drive too slow on the highway, do not worry. For the most part, these are mostly safe. Next up, we have 4-way stops. Now, this entirely depends on the 4-way stop, okay? If you're talking about some 4-way stop in like a grocery store parking lot, I'm sorry, it does not matter. But the big danger issue with 4-way stops is when it's in public major roads. Because sometimes people, believe it or not, actually miss seeing the stop sign, okay? And if a road feels like it should just keep going straight, but it's actually a 4-way stop, a lot of people will just accidentally blow right through 4-way stops. And if you're going through and then someone's blowing through it at 50 kilometers per hour, that is a recipe for a very dangerous T-bone. So in those scenarios, you should be extra careful at 4-way stops, okay? You should assume like someone is going to blow through at 80 kilometers per hour, even if it's on a side street. So because of those two extremes with 4-way stops, I'm going to balance them out at risky. Next up, we have making turns near or with or around bike lanes. Now, obviously, you're sitting in your 3,000-pound car. What's a biker going to do to you? Absolutely nothing. But what could you do to the cyclists? That's an important thing to talk about. Now, cyclists get a lot of hate for just, I don't know, existing. Well, I'm not here to defend all their actions or all the viral clips you see of them just being a pain. I am here to say that they are very at risk, okay? They are simply riding a 100-pound, not even, it's like, what are those, 50-pound bikes with like full spandex or like their jeans or whatever. They are not protected at all except by a helmet. And also, they are not very visible. Even if they're wearing full lighting, they pale in comparison to, you know, the F350 with like 10,000 lumen high beams, so they're not going to be seen if it's at night or in bad weather very well. So this means anytime there's any sort of bike infrastructure set up, or you're in a place where bikes are allowed to be extra careful, okay? And if you see a cyclist on the road, keep that in mind for when you're making an upcoming turn, and make extra sure you know exactly where they are before you make their turn. Bike infrastructure is pretty good in most places, so it's not too big of a risk at the end of the day, but please take extra caution around cyclists. For them, it's very dangerous. Next up, we have blind corners. Now, I hope everybody watching knows not to pass on blind corners. That is stupid. That's probably the dumbest, or one of the dumbest things you can do behind the wheel, period. But even just staying on your side of the road around a blind corner, you have to be so cautious. And the reason should be more than obvious. You don't know what's going to be around the blind corner. It's one thing if it's like a back road and you know it like the back of your hand and there's like no cars, but it's a whole nother when it's in a city area or an urban area or whatever, right? Because literally anything could be around the corner, okay? You have to take these blind corners with the mindset that literally anything, a cyclist, another car, a kid crossing the road could be at the other side of this blind corner. So just always be prepared for the worst. Treat them with extreme caution because they could be possibly deadly. Next up, we have roundabouts, and specifically 2 or multi-lane roundabouts. Now, in terms of sheer amount of accidents, these roundabouts are probably the most common, or one of the most common places that they will happen, but typically they are quite low speed, okay? So these are just going to be fender benders. However, it doesn't mean you should not take caution, okay? A lot of people do not understand how roundabouts work. They don't signal in or out, which most people don't, let's be real here. Most people don't know how to read those arrows, even though they're pretty abundantly clear usually. It means that a lot of accidents can happen here. I'm going to put these in risky. Next up, we have legal passing zones on the oncoming lane. So basically some 1-lane highways will allow you to pass on the other side when it's a dotted line in case there's like a slow driver that's holding a bunch of people up. And this is not a bad idea. Like inherently, there's nothing wrong with this being allowed. But the issue is when humans, drivers get impatient and have bad judgment calls on these, then it can be fatal. When you are thinking about making a pass on one of these high-speed highways in the oncoming lane, only do it if you are certain without a shadow of a doubt you can make it. And if there's any oncoming car in sight at all, unless it is like a million years away, don't make the pass, okay? Just don't make it. It's not worth it. I get it. Sometimes you'll be following this one slow driver for like an hour and then finally you get your chance to pass, but just think, is it really worth it, okay? Is it really worth it to get to your destination 5 minutes faster? I don't think so. So if you see a car oncoming, remember, you guys are both coming at each other at like 60 miles per hour. You guys hit each other head on. Not only are you and your passengers done, they're probably done too, the innocent third party that was just going on their side of the road. So only make these passes if you're 110% certain you can easily make it with like minutes to spare. Otherwise, it's genuinely not worth it. These can be fatal. Okay, part 2 of the highway thing. I said regular highway, just driving down it's not that dangerous. This is the dangerous part of highways, and it is merging. Now, in a perfect world, if people just had like a tiny bit of common sense, highway mergers would be no big deal at all. But as we know, nobody has common sense anymore. All you have to do when you're merging to merge safely is look at what the cars already on the highway are doing, match their speed. That's it. Don't go quicker, don't go slower, match their speed, look for a gap. Other drivers will help you get a gap if you're matching their speed, and then merge on. If you're going faster, you'll have to slow down, so that's not really a problem. But if you are going slower than the people on the highway trying to merge, that is one of the most deadly dangerous things you can do. You're gonna get a pile up behind you if a bunch of other people are trying to merge, but they have to go slower because you're going slower, which is gonna cause more traffic and more slowdown. Then people will be trying to merge on a highway that's going 60 miles per hour at like 20. And if you can't intuitively think of why that would be dangerous, like turn in your license, okay? This can be fatal. Be careful on mergers. School zones, we all know kids are super unpredictable. They're not smart, okay? They're not intelligent. They don't understand the gravity of cars and them moving. Just go the speed limit in school zones. Be incredibly careful. These are dangerous. Next up, we have cars coming off of side streets. What you should be doing when you're driving down a main road is constantly scanning the side streets quickly to see if there are any cars waiting to turn. And if you see one, act like in your mind that at any moment they could pull out and severely cut you off. Because let's be real, oftentimes that is the case and it does happen. So just go down these roads expecting the absolute worst. That's kind of the theme of this video. Expect the absolute worst and you'll be fine. People's judgment is bad. People can be idiots. These are dangerous. Finally, we have passing a car on a dark road that has misaligned headlights. Let me explain this one. This is super niche, but so important. Basically, a lot of people will replace their headlights, which is fine, but they'll replace them with projectors, meaning that even if they have low beams, they will pretty much be shining in your face, blinding you. Or the other offender are lifted truck drivers. They will lift their car, but not adjust their low beams. So now their low beams are directly at your face, also blinding you. And when you're on a dark road, this effect can be really bad and you can like completely lose sight of what's in front of you. So if you're caught in a situation where you're just genuinely blinded from an oncoming car, the only thing you can do is slow down so that if there is something in front of you like a deer, you're not going to hit it as hard. That's all I can tell you, okay? This is genuinely such an issue on the roads. Be incredibly careful if you see these people. This is possibly deadly. I hope you guys learned something from this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.